Okay, so this is my presentation. I'm doing a presentation on strabismus. My name is Kayla Kootenay. Let's get on with the show. Okay, so what is strabismus? Strabismus is formerly known as cross-eye syndrome. It is a condition where one eye is turned into a direction that is different from the other eye. This is my quoted component of my show, and it is from the Cleveland Clinic. Okay, going back to this image, these images are not referenced because they are my own, and this is me. As you can see, I actually suffered from strabismus. These are actually really old pictures. This one is actually more recent, and I'll get to why it's more recent. Okay, so when I was younger, I actually had a traumatic experience where I climbed up a glass case and it fell on top of me, and I had a bunch of trauma to the face. And transpired into having damaged muscles around the eyes, as you can see in this eye. It did turn in, but in this eye, it was corrected because I got surgery. The other thing was there was damage to this muscle here, but it was not significant, so I didn't receive surgery. But like any damaged tendon or muscle, it deteriorates over time. And about, I would say, 10 years after, I started having issues with this eye, so I decided to seek medical attention to correct this problem. It just took a long time because of COVID, and surgery was backed up, and I actually had surgery this past September, and this is actually a picture prior to my surgery. The different types of strabismus. There are different types of strabismus just because of the placement of deviation of the eye. So we'll go through all four of them. So there's estropia, which is where the eye turns inwards. Exotropia, where the eye turns outwards. Hypertropia, where the eye turns down. And hypertropia, where the eye turns upwards. So looking at these three and knowing what they are, which one do you think I presented with? If you chose exotropia, you're right. That's what I had. See, they came in inwards. Deviated inwards. So how does this topic correlate with our class content? This topic fits into 3.5, the sensory receptors, and how our images relayed in the brain. One of the biggest issues that people that suffer from strabismus have is coordination, double vision. Diplopia is the medical term of double vision, and depth of vision. Why does this happen? With your eyes, you have two images, and your brain combines them and pushes them together into one image. When your eyes are placed in two different positions, you have two different images, and things get messed up by this, which leads to bad coordination. And because of this, your brain can't figure out where things actually are. So with my personal experience and how I would translate this in a better way is I couldn't play sports. For instance, say if I wanted to play baseball, and because of my issue, I couldn't figure out if a ball was thrown at me. I couldn't figure out where it was actually going to fall. So I would say 95% of the time, I wouldn't be able to figure out, my body couldn't have that reflex to move my arm in the proper position to catch that ball, for instance, right? Okay, so let's talk about things that we learned in class and how strabismus differs from the normal person. So what we learned in class is we see two images. This is a profile view, so it's not really a good image, but we'll get the gist of it. So both eyes see two images. It moves up to the optic nerve while the image falls here to the optic nerve, and then it is relayed up to the optical lobe and visual cortex, which these things smushes this image together, which translates into one image. With strabismus, okay, so say this is an apple. Looks more of like a heart, but we'll go with it. Okay, and these are your eyes. Your eyes are looking the same like that, right? With strabismus, oh, okay, so we're seeing the same image, and this is what the brain realizes is one image. So say with strabismus, your eye is looking here instead of this way, right? So what happens is this happens. You're seeing these. Seeing this. And you're only seeing a portion of this and not the complete thing because it's deviated so much to this way. And then what happens is you get one image, but you get two apples. And now, the thing is, your visual cortex can't differ where it actually is. So, one side of your optic nerve is like, no, or no, you're not optic nerve. Your visual cortex is like, okay, the apple's over here, but then it says, no, it's over here. But in retrospect is actually in the middle, which you can see in hindsight why it would be really frustrating for me playing sports, because I couldn't figure out where it actually is, because my brain was like telling me one thing, and then my left side of my brain that was controlling my right eye was going, no, it's over here, and vice versa, right? Okay, so we went through a little bit of anatomy of the eye, but we didn't cover other things that were really important with the function of the movement of the whole eye itself. So we'll go through just a little bit of the anatomy, and then we'll talk about how the anatomy differs from a regular person. Okay, so we have 4 different muscles that control the eye. The superior rectus, which is right here. The medial rectus is right here. And then the inferior rectus which is right here. And the lateral rectus. Obviously, your nose is right here, in plain terms. And then the way muscles work is they're usually paired or coupled. So when you have 2 muscles paired like this, so this is a pair and this is a pair, they're playing tug of war to keep things aligned. So what happens is in strabismus, the tendon right here is moved back and it will pull this way instead of being aligned with lined and straight. Again, we'll just go through this again on the other diagram. Okay, so we have the nose right here, right? And then, okay, so this is the regular placement of the tendon on the eye. This is the muscle. Regular placement of the tendon on the eye. In strabismus, it would be moved back here, which will correlate when it's playing, this one would be strong. It would be stronger, and it would actually pull this way in translation. So we'll just erase that. Okay, so if it was pulled this way, which way do you think it would be? Remember, this is the nose right here, so it would be pulling this way. This is the nose right here. It would be exotropic because it's pulling away from the eye. Pulling away to the right. Okay. Whoops. What did I do? Okay, so in my personal story and treatment, is there a cure? Yes, most definitely, but there's a lot of misleading information out there. In my personal experience, my parents did not want me to get surgery until later in life, and when I turned 18, I started looking for this opportunity of getting strabismus surgery, and the first optometrist that I saw said there was no cure and that I should just live with it. And I was like, well, I'm going to seek a different opinion because that can't be right. Because I already know that young kids could get strabismus, and she was telling me no, adults cannot get strabismus surgery. But I seen another optometrist, and they said most definitely adults get strabismus surgery all the time. So in my first journey, I actually saw a doctor. I can't recall his name, but he moved to Lethbridge, and I did not seek treatment after my first surgery with the same doctor. With my second surgery, I actually saw a fellow named Dr. Carlos Solarte, which is a leading strabismus optometrist surgeon at the U of A. And he deals with children and adults with this issue. And he is actually one of the leading surgeons in Canada. And I was actually really happy to be put under his care, just because he has had a lot of knowledge and was able to give me a lot more information other than the other doctor that I had. The other factor I want to talk about is strabismus surgery covered by Alberta Healthcare? Yes, it is. Most definitely. I received, like I said, this surgery twice, and I did not have to pay out of pocket. I don't know what the details of other provinces are when it comes to coverage with this surgery. The other option is seeing an eye physical therapist, which will give you different things to do, like wearing eye patches and stuff like that. But with my condition over the years, I did see a physical therapist. It is actually really expensive, and it's not covered by Alberta Healthcare, so I actually stopped seeing this because my parents couldn't afford it. But they got me to wear eye patches. I had to do exercises and stuff like that, but over time it just didn't help. And like I said, I think it was just because of the trauma that I had. Majority of the time, because mine was a special case, my case was special because of the trauma that I had. It was due to an accident, not a birth defect. Majority of the time, strabismus is actually a birth defect, and it's actually through genetics. That was one of the first questions that one of my doctors asked me, is if I had family members that suffered from strabismus, and I told them no, this was basically because of this and stuff like that, and then they understood what was going on. It was more of a physical contribute than something genetics. So yeah, that is me done rambling. If you have any questions, be free to ask them. And yeah, that is my submission to my portion of my assignment. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit on strabismus. Bye!